Okay, hey guys, today's topic will be patience. I want to talk about patience because I think it's a very interesting topic and it's a really important virtue that I think you can cultivate in your life by applying these ideas and by maybe looking at patience from the perspective that I want to share with you in this video. So, patience to me is basically a form of love, a form of self-love, a form of love towards the other. It's allowing. It's an allowing energy. When you show patience, you show the other person that you're willing to spend time and attention to allow a certain feeling or a certain thing to happen. You actually basically it's the energy you provide for a transformation. Patience is the energy you provide for a transformation. I think that this is a beautiful way to look at patience. Because when we are in a certain state, or when somebody else is in a certain state, there is sometimes, most of the time actually, a certain time span required to change that state, right? Change is just what happens over time. So when you start meditating on a regular basis and when you start to really expand your awareness and become aware of how your emotions and feelings change over time, then you understand that a feeling is a temporary thing, but sometimes it requires a certain amount of time in order to change, to transform. And cultivating an attitude of patience is cultivating an attitude of allowing, cultivating an attitude of surrender. Because patience means that you are in a state of non-resistance towards the process of changing, the unfolding of the changing situation. So when you deliberately practice patience, it requires a level of self-awareness, it requires a level of acceptance with the fact that right now a situation might not be the way I want it to. There is resistance, right? If you can let go of that resistance, if you accept it, then the patience can really beautifully unfold and it can aid in the process of transforming a certain state. So let me give you an example. For example, your partner is feeling very frustrated with a deadline for work and they feel very stressed about it, they feel super frustrated, they feel overwhelmed, they don't know what to do, and they're just so tense and incredibly overloaded, overwhelmed. Then you can resist their state. You can be impatient with it. You can be like, come on, get over it. Come on, start to work, do something, get over it. It should be over by now, right? This is a state of resistance because maybe you feel uncomfortable with this level of frustration. Maybe you get reminded of your own deadlines and you know how uncomfortable it feels. And so you really take over their frustrated state a little bit and you are uncomfortable with these feelings inside yourself, so you want to get rid of them, you want to resist them, you want to push them away, so you're unable to sit with that frustration, so you're unable to sit with their frustration, so you want to get rid of it, so you're impatient with their slow unfolding of the transformation of their current state, and so you're impatient, you want things to change. Another example, you're in the line at the grocery store and you're starting to feel impatient because it's taking so long, and the thoughts in your mind come like, oh, my time is valuable, I need to be somewhere in time, this takes so much time, I'm impatient, I want to change this situation, there's resistance to the current situation, right? There is resistance to the fact that right now there is a huge queue and it's going slow. You can feel this frustration inside yourself, this impatience. Oh, I want this to go faster. So you're resisting the pace of the transformation. You're resisting the pace of the transformation, of the change. That is what it means to be impatient. And to be patient is to accept the rate of the change of transformation. It's amazing. Very interesting way to look at patience. So the key to cultivating more patience is practicing acceptance. What can I do in this situation which will reduce the amount of frustration or stress that I feel? Accept the situation how it is, or take action in order to change the situation so I don't have to feel impatient. What do I mean by this? For example, in the queue in the supermarket, in the grocery store, you can decide whether you really need your groceries, and if it's a small thing you had to buy quickly before you need to be somewhere on time, you can decide to leave it there and come back another time if you really need to be on time. Or you can decide to go to another queue, and maybe it's faster, but usually when you're resisting the pace of change and you're impatient and you go to the other queue, it takes even longer. So it's basically the universe telling you that, hey, you should learn to practice patience. You should learn to be accepting of the rate of change that I currently impose on this situation, right? So usually that's how it goes. So I speak from experience. That's why I'm laughing. But so you can also understand, okay, right now I am stuck in the queue in the grocery store. I need these things. I need to buy these things. I spend a lot of time in the grocery store looking for these things. So if I now drop everything and I leave, then there is a lot of wasted time. You can do that. I mean, if the situation calls for it, then absolutely you can drop your stuff and come back another time if you really need to be somewhere in time. But what you also can do, if you don't really need to be somewhere in time, then you can accept the fact that, okay, right now I'm in the queue, it's taking a while, let me practice mindfulness, let me practice patience, because I believe that patience can be a skill. It's the practice of letting go, it's the practice of accepting the rate of change, of transformation, right? The rate of change in a transformation. It's accepting the rate of change in a transformation. And so you can be in the queue and wait and pay attention to, okay, right now I am feeling this frustration. What can I do about it? I can accept it. I can understand it. Well, right now there's a lot of people. I can learn that this hour is not the right time for me to come if I want to avoid a long queue. This is something that you can learn from the situation. You can learn that, okay, everybody here wants to be somewhere in time or doesn't want to spend a long time in the queue. So everybody is probably feeling a little bit frustrated or impatient, and if not, then well, I'm happy because I would love to be in their mind space, right? Some people are maybe completely distracted, they don't even care, they don't even realize that they're spending so much time in the queue. Or you can strike up a conversation with the person behind you. You can make it an interesting situation where you instead of being angry and frustrated, I have to be fast and they don't respect my time and all these negative thoughts and feelings, you can accept the fact that, okay, right now this is the rate of change. I can speed it up. I don't have to speed it up because it is what it is, and I accept that. And so patience is such a strong and powerful skill in so many situations, right? It's not only in this practical queue at the grocery store scenario, it's also useful when a loved one is feeling very, very sad or angry for an extended period of time, and you feel like, hey, it's time to get over it now, it's time to let it go, it's time to move past that. Well, sometimes they need an extended amount of time in order for them to move through their own process of letting go, right? Some people, myself included, I feel very sad sometimes for a long time, and then after I've been able to be in this sad state for long enough, I can get tired of the state and I want to move to another level, right? But I sometimes need to have been in that state for an extended period of time before I can let it go and move to a higher vibrational energetic state. So cultivating that patience, working on allowing certain emotions to reside within yourself can greatly enhance the patience you have with other people. Empathy is also a key part in cultivating patience, being patient. Again, the rate of change, of transformation, it's so beautiful. I don't know why I never thought about this. Let's say you have a situation with a teacher and a child you're teaching something to, and you explain something and they don't understand it. It's okay. Sometimes they don't understand it. You try it again. You explain it again another time. They still don't understand it. You explain again. They still don't understand it. Okay. Then at some point you can get frustrated or impatient with their rate of transformation, the rate of change is transformation. It can start to feel frustrating because you feel like, oh, come on, I've spent so much time trying to teach you this stuff and you still don't understand. So I'm getting impatient, right? So then there is a lot of thoughts that can come up. You can actually feel frustrated towards yourself because you feel like, well, if I'm spending so much time with this person, with this child, and he or she still doesn't understand what I'm trying to explain here, maybe I am not a good person. Maybe my skill is too bad. Maybe I can't even explain it. Maybe I'm like a bad person for not being able to make this person understand what I'm saying. This is something that you can think or believe about yourself, which causes a lot more frustration and more impatience. You can understand that, okay, maybe I should try a completely different angle. Maybe this child doesn't really understand the way I communicate, and maybe I should ask the child, hey, what would be a way that I can help you understand this material better? Or maybe you try with a metaphor, or with I don't know, with a visual representation, whatever, right? You can use your creativity. But basically, when you're getting impatient, when they don't understand the thing that you're trying to explain, it's again, you're resisting the rate of change of transformation. And if you can accept the fact that maybe for this child it takes a long time and a lot of repetition to grasp this concept, to understand this particular piece of information, then you can approach a situation with a more loving, understanding, compassionate attitude. And empathy, being able to put yourself in their shoes and understand, okay, sometimes there were situations where I wasn't able to understand something and I felt stupid about that, especially if the person trying to teach it to me makes reacts in a frustrated, impatient way. Then of course I even feel less capable of understanding, and I shut down and I'm unable to hear what they're trying to say. And and the child, especially the child, doesn't know that you have good intentions, and so they take it personally, and this is not good. So in cultivating a peaceful patience attitude can have tremendous benefits on everything you do, your personal life, but also your interpersonal life, where you're communicating with other people. A romantic partner, you are trying to explain a certain situation where you felt hurt or angry or disappointed or whatever it is. You're trying to explain why you feel like that so they can understand it. Sometimes they don't, and it requires a lot of time and repetition to explain something to them so they really understand it. This 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 is how it is. Sometimes people have a hard time understanding your perspective or your point of view or the thing you're trying to get across. And cultivating a patient attitude, understanding and accepting the change of rate of transformation, that way you can avoid more conflict. You can avoid creating a tense situation, because if you allow the other person the time to process whatever it is that you are trying to communicate, then this is a win-win for both parties, right? You can feel less frustrated and impatient about it, because impatience, it's an uncomfortable sensation. It's not fun. It's a resistance. It's a stressor. And if you have impatience, that's a state of allowance, a state of surrender, a state of acceptance. And it's so much more pleasant to be in that state. It's so much more pleasant to be in the queue and knowing that, okay, I accept it and I am patient and I wait and I can meditate or I can think about something. I can even call somebody or whatever, right? You can, then there is space and possibilities for creativity to come to you, right? Maybe in the grocery queue your best idea all of a sudden strikes you, but if you're stuck up in this impatient state, the thoughts in your head, the loops, oh, I should be able to go fast, and why are people not faster, and this and that, this is keeping you stuck there. In that state there is no room for inspiration to enter your system. There is no room for peace to enter your state, right? But if you accept the rate of change as transformation, then you allow yourself to be in a state of willingness, a state of surrender. And this is such a powerful idea. This is such a powerful concept. And I highly recommend, I invite you to make it a daily practice, to practice your patience. Practice patience with yourself too. This is incredibly important. Practice patience with yourself when you're trying to change something about your life and you are successful for a few successive days, then you follow the train. Well, be patient. You can't expect yourself to be perfect right from the start. Allow yourself to make mistakes, to fall off track, and then pick up your courage and start again. And be patient with that process. Be patient with the rate of change, this transformation. It's so beautiful. It's amazing. I'm very happy with this way of looking at patience. So yes, this is what I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for looking inwards and thus making the world a better place one step at a time. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.